This is Ben from Testive, and we're looking at an SAT reading graphic question. This question asks, which of the following claims can reasonably be inferred from the graphic? So the graphic is down here. Okay, it's a couple parts. We have a map, and then we have a table. Okay, so first let's understand this. The map shows at a particular moment in time, in April, different drought conditions in the state, where D4 is the worst, exceptional drought, D3 is extreme, D2 is severe, D1 is moderate, and D0 is abnormally dry. And then that's on the map. In the table, we can actually see, it's a little harder to make sense of, but it doesn't just show D0, D1, D2, D3, D4. What it shows is no drought conditions, D0 to D4, D1 to D4, and so on. So really, this last column is just the exceptional drought, D4. The next column, D3 to D4, is D4 as well as D3. The next column is D4, D3, and D2. The next column is D4, D3, D2, and D1. And the yellow column here is D4, D3, D2, D1, and D0. Okay, so why do I go through all of that? Because when we look at our answer choices, first one says the percent area with a D2 to D4 drought condition rating may contribute to the percent area with a D3 to D4 drought condition rating. Well, can D2 to D4, can this percentage contribute to being a part of this percentage here, D3 to D4? No, because this one in orange, the D2 to D4, it includes D2. The next one includes D3 and D4, but not D2. So it's actually the opposite of what this claims right here. So we're going to rule that out. For the same reason, we can rule out the next one. The D1 to D4 can't be greater than the D0 to D4 because it includes it, right? It doesn't include D0. D1 to D4 doesn't include D0. So there's no way it could be greater because it includes all the same things except for one. When there are drought conditions, D0 is generally the smallest drought condition rating by percent area. Or drought condition ratings do not change during the winter. The last one seems like it's not going to be true. Let's check if the third one is true. When there are drought conditions, D0 is generally the smallest drought condition rating by percent area. So how would we find the percent area of a single one, of like D0? That's what it's asking us to find. Well, if we know that D3 to D4 includes D4 and D3, then if we wanted to know just D3, just the value of D3, we would subtract D4 from D3 to D4, right? Like if I said, well, here's how many apples and oranges there are, and here's how many oranges there are, you could subtract the oranges from the apples and oranges to get just the apples. It's the same thing here. So if I want to know how large the area is for D2, I would subtract D3 to D4 from D2 to D4, and I'd be left with just D2. So if we want to know if D0 is generally the smallest, all we need to see is that the difference between D0 to D4 and D1 to D4 is really the smallest difference of any of these, right? It's like less than a whole percentage point of difference between the yellow and the tan here, and it becomes like 5 percentage points different here, becomes about 30 here, and becomes about 20 here. So this is going to be the correct answer. I understand that if you didn't get this, you might want to watch this video again and pause to actually do the math, but I think that should make sense. You can also read the written explanation, might spell it out.